the company won't be responsible for that. Okay, so the engine which is fixed completely by robotics, not for humans. So for humans, if they touch the engines, then our robot was fixed engines, that we may not be done 100%. So the pistols, the wheels, it won't fix it. So once you touch the engine, so that's why. So until unless the company will be responsible in case if there is any major things happens in the engine, really we won't get it. So very worst cases, if you get it, then only that. So here the tracking has to be maintained, right? So which model, which type of engines, which bikes, cars, which is selling more. So those will be receiving goods from the companies. Those are insertion, which means insert operations. We will load the complete details into the tables. So whoever the customer is interested and they are buying this vehicle, so that will be kind of updation, or I can say, you can say like delete in the sense the item get sold out. Okay, so in case if there is any damage or quality check needs to be done from the company side, so they will make update, so the particular record. So here they will maintain all the information. So here the tracking is required. So most of the industries they will follow standard operations only, standard stream only. They will go ahead because the streams will give you an alert. So in case if any shortage is happening or whatever it is. So I just give an example for sports bikes. Sorry. So in terms of sports bikes and cars, so this is applicable for all the sectors, for retail stores and medical side. For everything we can apply this. It is not only for specific scenario. So I just give an example of showroom, so that you guys might be pretty much interested on this area. So that's why I took this example. And the append only is there, right? So the append only will track once the manufacturing industry, wherever the production is happening. So production in the sense, so the engine parts, engine play a key role. So this engine, how many engines are produced last 1 quarter, or the expected quarter, or the expected year, how many engines they are going to producing. So those will be always treated as inserting only. Okay, so that is also not completely insert operations they won't use. So it will be a standard stream only. Very rare cases they will go ahead for append only. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah. So any doubts here programmatically? So it is very simple. So whatever the operations which you are going to performing on table, so if you want to track all those operations, then we can go ahead for standard stream, because standard stream will capture all the operations like insert, update and delete, including truncate changes. Okay, so if you want to track only insert operations, then you can go ahead for stream with append only equal to true. So this will capture only insert operations. Okay, so if you get a interview question like so which one you used in your project, then you say I used standard stream only. Okay, append only, ideally they won't use it. Very rare scenarios they will use it. Okay. So if no questions, then we will move to the next topic, task. I just give some high level details. So practically you can see it tomorrow. If you guys time, so we'll try to cover it here. So task is basically okay. So I have a scenario like I have some data. So frequently I have some what I can say, like let's take an example of any automobile industry. Like bench I'm taking. So in bench, so there will be a, so I'm just giving an overview about the automobiles. So the bench is the only the first car which is manufactured by bench. So world first car vehicle which is produced by bench. And you guys aware, right? ABS, this ABS braking system, which is invented by Mercedes-Benz, and it is giving free of cost for the world. So there is no patent rights on ABS. Okay, so if one model is clicked in Mercedes-Benz, then the entire Mercedes-Benz who are working throughout the world, that one model will pay for 1 year salaries. Okay, so that is a different story. So here Benz will produce only engines. Okay, so engines like car, trucks, vans, and buses. This bus engines, these engines only will produce. Okay, so rest of the parts will produce. The rest of the parts will be will not be responsible, or they won't manufacture anything. So there are some 25,000 plus vendors are there, outside vendors, where they will give glass, wheels, and metals, so headlights, steering, and some sensor systems also they will give you. Okay, so there are a lot of things. So here, so before producing the engines, we need raw materials, right? Raw materials in the sense, I can say iron, comma, more stronger than iron. Okay, so they will collect the raw material from different vendors, and they will get the quotations. Which company giving a good quality and less price, then the company will go ahead and they will buy the raw materials. Correct. So whenever the raw materials they are buying, so this all the information you should be maintained in Snowflake or SAP or Oracle or whatever it is. Some one database has to be maintained. So this collecting the raw material which is maintained by the consumers. Okay, so these consumers don't know anything about softwares. Okay, no idea about softwares. So what they'll do is these consumers, they will maintain this data in one Excel sheet. Okay. Okay, so this Excel sheet, they are very expert. So if you talk about any industry, so the consumers, they are too much experts in Excel sheet. So without Excel sheet, I can say no industries in the world. Okay, so they are know only Excel, and some people Excel are not bad, very frequently using these things. Okay, so this data in a daily basis, this data has to load into Snowflake. Okay, so let's imagine this bench is using completely Snowflake. Okay, so this consumers using Excel sheet or Notepad or whatever it is. So the daily basis, this data has to move into Snowflake. Okay, so what ideally we should do? This is the common scenario which is happening in throughout the worldwide. Okay, so the question here is the point number one. So what are the file formats supported by Snowflake? Okay, so it is supported by CSV. Okay, so the file, the Excel sheet or Notepad, that has to be converted into file conversion required. Okay, so once the file conversion is done, then this file has to load into either AWS or Azure or Google Cloud platform. From here, load that files into Snowflake. Okay, so imagine in every day 10,000 times this data has to be loaded into Snowflake. So 10,000 times this file manually conversion and manually loading the file into AWS and manually loading AWS from AWS to Snowflake. It takes a lot of time, right? So why can't we automate this functionality? So when we automate this functionality, that will call it as background jobs. Okay, some of the softwares, they may call it as jobs, background jobs, scheduling task. These three are same only. Okay, but the terminology is different. So in SAP, people used to call as job, background job, but in Snowflake, people used to call as scheduling a task. Okay, so when you automate this functionality, which means the file is loaded into AWS, from AWS the file should automatically get loaded into Snowflake data warehouse. So how you can achieve that? So with the help of task scheduling in Snowflake, we can approach that. We can specify the timestamp, exact timestamp. So whether this file has to load into Snowflake in every 1 minute or every 5 minutes or every 2 hours once or every alternate day or every weekly once or in a monthly once or every quarterly or every 6 months once or every yearly once, we can set it. So no need to remember the time timings when this task has to be executed. Once you set the timings, which time this file has to get loaded into Snowflake automatically, then you can specify the timestamp. So automatically the Snowflake will take care and it will execute it and it will get loaded the file into Snowflake database successful. Okay, so here we are automating this functionality. So we are not manually touching anything. So it is moreover like Snowpipe configuration, but here we are not configuring anything. So Snowpipe is basically how it will work is the difference between Snowpipe and Task is Snowpipe. Once you configure the Snowpipe, whenever the new files available in AWS, immediately that file will get loaded into Snowflake database. But in Task, based on the time what you set it, accordingly the task will execute and the file will get loaded into Snowflake. Okay, so like I'll try to elaborate bit. So I have a AWS. So in AWS, with Snowpipe, I'll make it. Okay, so this Snowpipe, once the configuration is done, then what it will do is, so I have loaded files. I have loaded a file and file at 8:05 a.m. So like that every 1 minute file has been loaded into bucket. So imagine at today end of the day how many files we will get loaded. So imagine with till today end of the day, imagine I'm loading some 10,000 files.